Okay, it's 11 and you know I'm punctual, so here we go. I'm going to show you how I make, once I can get my screen up here, how I make these easy drawstring bags. There are a ton of patterns on the market for making drawstring bags, but I think I make it a really easy way, so I'm going to show you what I do. This can be like scrap buster, just using all sorts of quilting cotton. You can interface if you want. I do not, because you're going to have 4 layers of fabric here, so I find it's just fine. I like adding the little wooden beads on the drawstrings because before I knew what I was doing, I would do my drawstrings and not have these little stoppers, and the drawstring would get sucked into the casing. So it's just an idea. They don't have to be wooden. They can be any kind of jewelry finding that your cord can go through. I used shoelaces on these bags because I just wasn't feeling making strings, but you can use, fabric folded on itself. Today, I'm going to be using already made, purchased binding that I just sewed the open end closed. I'm going to show you how I do that. And I am also going to be sewing soft vinyl because I really like the structure it gives. There's no interfacing, and yet it'll stay up like this. Whereas the quilting cotton one, it's much more smooshy. So I have air pillows in here to give it shape for my photos and stuff. Let me take these out and I'll show you. Yeah, so if you're traveling, you might want it really flat and smooshy like that. So that's an option. The soft vinyl is also going to lay flat if you want it to. You just press it down. I also made this one with just one shoelace, so there's only a drawstring on one side because sometimes you just don't have 2 pieces. Okay, well, enough chat. Let's get sewing because it's hot in here. First of all, you're going to cut your pieces at 15 wide by 17 tall for my example. Now, you can cut these pieces any size you want. So if you want a really small drawstring bag, cut it, 7 by 9. It doesn't matter. Size doesn't matter as long as all 4 pieces are the same size. All right. So here I'm using Tula's new fabric. This is Painted Roses that I have in the shop, and I'm using purple soft vinyl, which I also have in my shop at SoHungryHippie.com. Hi Debbie, so good to see you. Hi Melanie Grace, hi Kathleen. Good to see everybody. Let us know where you're all at in the comments if you'd like. I'm just gonna carry on here. Okay, so as you can see, well, let me turn this bag inside out for you. I serge mine because the serger, I have this serger that's super fast and can handle a lot. And so it's super easy to use. It's super fast. And I know a lot of you don't have a serger, or you have one that's real angsty and a real brat, and so you never use her. And I've been there, so I totally get it. So on this demo, I'm just going to be using the Janome Skyline, a 7 sewing machine. Nothing fancy about this demo. I will not be using a serger, but just know you can. So I'm going to move this out of the way. If you're not using a serger, we need to treat your seams. So what I did already is I folded all 4 pieces, or 2 pieces, sorry, this is 2 pieces, same size. I folded this over and I did pinking shears. Pinking shears are the ones with the jaggedy edges. I'm not sure on the history why they call them pinking shears. I mean, mine are pink because they're from Havel's, but kind of hot pink. But maybe somebody here knows. Hi Kathleen Modesto and Gwen from North Dakota. Oh, awesome. We're having a heat wave here in Wisconsin. So outside right now, it's super, super muggy and about 90 degrees. And I'm glistening because I told you guys before, we don't have AC in this old house. And that's okay. Some days I get a little angry. But then I just go outside and get super hot and then come back inside and I realize, oh, this old house is actually really nice because it is cooler than outside for sure. But anyways, that's why I look a little glistening. Okay, so I folded this over as I was chattering. And I'm just pinking the edges of this quilting cotton so that when we sew this together, the edges will not fray. I don't know the technicalities on this, why a jaggedy edge doesn't fray, but it doesn't. Isn't that crazy? Somebody here is going to know, so you better comment. We can all use the trivia. It could come up in a game of Trivia Pursuit. All right, almost there. So it's just the very edge, and that will prevent fraying. Now I'm going to give this a quick press because I did not press before I started. Hi, Joni from Southern California. Awesome. Hi, Deborah from Atlantic City. Good to see you guys. And again, if you wanted to interface your quilting cotton with SF 101 or something like that, you totally can. I don't usually, because I don't want to use the interfacing on a project like this, that it doesn't matter if there's a lot of structure. It's okay if it's small and flat and squishy. And also, a lot of beginner sewists don't have those materials on hand. I remember well, because I didn't even know what interfacing was. You know, what year are we in? 2021, like 13 years ago. I didn't know what that was. I didn't even know what a bobbin was. So I just want to show you, you can go ahead and get started and do things if you don't have 100% everything, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so I'm going to lay these wrong sides up. And now we're going to place the soft vinyl, wrong sides together, right on top. Now with soft vinyl, you can use pins because you'll never ever see the holes. The soft vinyl really, it feels like a corduroy on the back. I hate that it's called vinyl because it's more like a thicker fabric. It kind of has the weight of a nice canvas. So just FYI, if you're gonna try to use a regular vinyl, like this bag, I don't think that this kind of a vinyl is going to work well for a bag with a drawstring casing unless you separated the body from the drawstring casing. So like your drawstring casing would be fabric and then the body of the bag would be vinyl. That would work. FYI. Oh, okay, here we go. Hi, Jen, Massachusetts. We just watched a movie with Mark Wahlberg in it. Is that Marky Mark? And I love him. He is so wholesome to me. And it was super, super Boston. So they were like, put it in the garbage. And my husband got such a kick out of it because I don't think he's ever met anybody from Boston or, you know, with a thick accent like that. And he kept rewinding. I want to hear that again. So cute. All right, we're ready to sew. You can, if you're using a sewing machine, you can use a zigzag stitch, and that's kind of double protection for your quilting cotton to not fray. It takes me longer to sew that, and you know I'm just like boom, 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 boom. So I'm just going to use a straight stitch. And we're just going to sew all sides. There's no preference. You don't have to leave a hole. We're just sewing all the way around. Now I'm going to use a 3mm stitch because that's just kind of my go-to. It's not ultra small, but it's not ultra big. I like 2.8 to 3 because if I have to unpick, which is often, it's easy to unpick. It doesn't really matter which side is up. I'll flip this over for the next one. The soft vinyl, it's not sticky like you think of other vinyls, like a shower curtain. So it should be fine. Oh, don't even play up on me today. Okay. She is not happy with me lately, this machine. And I know it's me. I know it's user error. Now I gotta pull that out. It's something with the bobbin. It is totally my fault. And I will figure that out eventually. I was out of town yesterday and couldn't sweet talk her. You know what I mean? Sometimes you gotta really sweet talk your machine. If that happens again, I'll just switch machines because I don't want you to have to wait on me. Turn power on again. When in doubt, turn off and turn on, just like a computer. So often, my husband is computery, and he could be tech support if he wanted. And I'll say, like, why is my computer doing this? And he'll actually respond to me, have you turned it off and on again? And I swear one of these days he's gonna pay. Oops. Now I don't have my thread threaded. And I can't see these little eyes anymore. And that just happened this year and I'm super mad about it. There we go. All right, now you should play nice. Here we go. Gosh, nothing like making me sweat. Is everybody else feeling cool? Hey, Betty Baird Mickle. Mama, hello. I bet you're nice and cool in the basement. I probably should have just pre-sewn one of these, but that's all right. Also, don't get too hung up if you get a few bubbles in the seam allowance because you're not going to see that once the bag is sewn together. So, I tell you what I think. I don't sew as a perfectionist because I think it slows me down and it bums me out because nothing I sew is perfect. But if you ask anybody who's bought from me, I think they think it's close to perfect, but it's not. Okay, last seam. I was just thinking yesterday how on live sews I can't edit out what I say, so I better watch myself. Oh, well, it's already said. Okay, so there's one side. I bet you know what we do next. Yes, we sew these. And we make sure everything is even. We take our pins out so that we don't stab ourselves later. That looks pretty good. Now I'm going to do this side. I think I will give this one a press quick before sewing. I should have done that. And you can press from this side. Isn't that amazing? That vinyl, it's fine taking it. Just don't leave your iron sitting there for a long time or anything. Like, just be cautious, you know. I was thinking about getting another iron, but now that I have one that lifts itself up, there's no way I could go back to the kind that doesn't, because I'd probably burn it all up. Just being honest. Yeah, if they only knew, Jen. You know what I'm saying? Woo! Okay, so now we're going to sew all around this one. Here we go. A lot of times, you know, the fabric steals the show. These can look so different. You could do scrappy, like put a bunch of different scraps together just to make your piece as big as it needs to be. Cut that out. Use that. If you're going to do scrappy, though, I would interface just to keep those seams strong because sometimes they'll want to pull apart. I can feel the sweat rolling down my back. What? It burns calories. I think it burns calories. I made this dress the other day because, well, it's kind of thin. You can a little bit see through it. Oh, maybe not. That's good. I had to put a clip because so many of the wrap dresses like come together way down here, and I am not trying to be J-Lo. So I gotta do some tweaks. What are you guys all doing today after this? Are you gonna do anything outside? I have a bunch of plants to garden, to put in the dirt. So I'm gonna do that. And I just got so many pounds of zippers in, it's ridiculous. So I'm gonna sort those out, make it look cute, and then reward myself with an iced flat white at Starbucks. Probably. That's what I tell myself to get through the workload, you know? Okay, so now we're here. Isn't this awesome? I hope you can see that okay. All right. So now decide which one you want on the outside. Oh, it's pouring rain, Joanna. How not? We need rain so bad here. I don't know what's going on in the Midwest. My grass is turning brown. I'm sad about it, but I don't waste water on grass. I wish we would get some rain. Like a hardcore thunderstorm, would that be fun? Not dangerous, but anyways. Oh, here I'm jabbering. So our next step is, if your fabric is directional, decide what's the top, and we're going to fold down 1 inch. And you don't have to do 1 inch, but I like it because it tends to fit any kind of cording that I might be using for the drawstring. So whether I'm using a shoelace or suede cord or binding or even fabric, 1 inch fits everything, and I'm not like jamming it through the casing. So you can get super precise and like put your thingamajig at 1 inch and like do all this, but I eyeball it. Man, I'm telling you all my bad habits. But I think after a while, you just kind of get a sense of your measurements. Unless you move countries and you go into centimeters and stuff, and then you got to get used to it again. Centimeter is, I think is it 2 inches or 2.5? Gosh, use it or lose it. I used to know that. Okay, so there's that side. And then I'm going to make sure my roses are dripping downward, and I'm going to do the same on this side. And I check these to make sure they're even. Nothing worse than if your drawstrings, your casings don't match. So just, there's a tidbit for you. Half and half. Oh, wow, Melanie, you can watch at work? What a great job. I used to like look at my phone and just throw it into my desk drawer if I heard my boss's heels coming down the corridor. Say it ain't so. Okay. That looks good. Now we're just gonna sew this casing down on the bottom edge. And if you want to, which I did do on my example bags, I like to top stitch the very top edge. I think it's a cool look. Looks good, it looks profesh, and all that. Don't sew over your pins, please. I don't know if you all know, but I was a nurse prior to this and did some time in the OR, street cred. And I saw somebody come in who had sewn over a pin and it went in her face. She's lucky it didn't go in her eye, but she, was too afraid to pull it out. I would be too. Ugh. Oh, that one lost its little flower. Oh my goodness. Oh no, it didn't. I just couldn't see it. Oh, I did it again. Sorry, Janome. Don't be mad at me. All right. We will shut that down and, it could just be the bobbins. I always try to use the exact bobbins that the manufacturer supplies with the machine, because if you try to do imposters or like cheaper ones on Amazon, they can really mess up your machine. So I have to make sure that I'm using the correct bobbin case for those. Okay, so I'm just gonna proceed. We're gonna act like nothing happened. I'm just doing the top stitching on the edge. Okay, that looks good. I don't change tension, I don't change needle, so I just use a universal chrome, usually chrome, size 80 when I'm sewing this vinyl, and I keep my tension normal. And what else? What was I saying? Oh, I use all-purpose thread. I have a lot of Gutermann because it's what I learned to sew with, and I'm comfortable with it. Some people like other brands, and I think every reputable brand is probably fine, but you do want an all-purpose, which has some poly filaments in there, and it makes it stronger. All cotton tends to break for this kind of project. Where my kids are. Okay, that one I won't top stitch just so you can see the difference. But we're almost there, if you can believe it. Super close. You're going to lay these right sides together and pin or clip these clips to hold it in place. Make sure your side edges are lined up. But before that, make sure your casings are lined up. Okay, super close. So I just make sure those guys, yep, those are lined up. And you're not going to sew all the way up and off the thingamajig. You're going to stop before you hit that casing line. I mean, don't ask me why I'm saying that. I'm saying it to me. We are going to be cutting out boxed corners also. But I like to sew them together first because then I know that the box corners are going to be perfectly matched each side. There's not going to be any, any of that going on. So let's sew the bottom first, and then we'll sew the sides. But we're going to sew from just under that casing right here and all the way down. Let me put it here. We're going to sew from here all the way down and from here all the way down. Don't sew here or you close off the casing. All right. I'm using a generous 1/4 of an inch. I think that's just what I tend to do when I make bags. I've never been a person who's super disciplined on seam allowance. I just kind of make it work. I shouldn't tell you this, but I did. So here we go. Remind me to stop. I'm going to back stitch there a few times so it's nice and strong. There we go. And now I'm just going to flip it over and do the other side. I like to start in the same place on both sides. So if I started on the bottom for one, I'm going to start on the bottom for the other side. Otherwise, I don't know if you've ever made a bag strap, but it can end up like one side is going up and one side is pulling down. And that can be pulling and feeding it through weird, but it can also be because you started one on the top and one on the bottom, you know? Hope I make sense. Somebody's here. Maybe it's my Costco order. I ordered 50 popsicles. Cause I'm gonna need them, baby girl, I'm gonna need them this weekend. All right, there we are. Trim threads. Take out the pins so you don't hurt yourself. Ow, like I just did. Oh my gosh. Now y'all see why I edit my YouTube videos, because there's all kinds of crazy going on up in here. Now you see the real me. Okay, let's do our box corners. Sew the corners, and then all we have left is threading the drawstring through. So what I like to do, I have these acrylic square rulers that I buy because they're so handy. A lot of times my box corners tend to be the same size, and so why not just have a template or a ruler? Or you could make your own if you're handy like that. So I put my acrylic ruler down. This is 2.5 inch square. And I use my rotary cutter because it's just precise and fast. If, like there, I didn't get it all. If there's a corner piece there, because I don't want to overcut with the rotary, I just come in with snips and get that last little chunk. And you're going through all the layers. And I'm lining it up, not on the seam allowance. I line it up on those raw edges, whatever they're called. Raw edges, yeah. I'm gonna go over, but I stop a little early because I don't want to overcut. I'm gonna flip it. Hear my pug. I hope you can't hear my pug. She likes to act crazy during the day with all the people walking by our house. She thinks she's a guard dog, like a Doberman, but then if you let her out, she'll just go up to them, like wag her butt and kiss them, and it's hilarious. Okay, so we're gonna, oh, I was off the camera. Okay, so this is what it looks like. So just reach in here, make sure that you're looking at your two, you know, you've got 2 on this side, 2 on this side. And then match those seams, pull it like this, and use a pin or use clips. I nest my seams. So one is going this way, one's going that way. Put a pin in there. And we're gonna sew right across that edge. I like to do it twice, you know, just for strength and safety. But definitely don't put a bowling ball in here or something. I don't know. Okay, let's sew those. I'll just do it once because I'm on the demo, but I always go, lock stitch, start and stop. And a lot of times, honestly, I'll come in there and do like a zigzag inside that seam allowance to just give it some extra strength. We all could use that. That one's going that way, so that one's going to go that way. All right, there we are. Almost there. I'm going to trim all these threads later. You want to do this right away so you don't forget. I'll come in here and kind of clean up my seams a bit. Yes, look, this machine, funny enough, I don't want to get in trouble because I do represent Janome for sure. I love their machines. This issue is totally me. I accept all responsibility. But this Bernina, funny enough, is the one I learned on 100 years ago. And I bought it used in England. So we had to change the motor out from 220 to, I don't know, what is it here, 180, 489? I don't know what it is. Whatever the electrical stuff is here. And it just keeps going. It's just a workhorse. It's just, it is what it is. Wow, here we are. We are ready to thread our drawstrings. Now, normal drawstring behavior is one is threaded in from this side and goes all the way out around and comes out the same side. And then we thread one in this side and we go all the way around and it comes out this side. And that's why it does this in cinches. If you don't have two, you're going to use one and just go from one end all the way around, and you'll just have to do this when you cinch your string. It's all good. Now, mine are long because that's how I roll. So I take my piece of binding and I fold it in half, and I'm going to cut 2 even pieces this way. What is the measurement, you ask? I don't know. 35 inches. All right. And that ensures that it's plenty long enough for a big wide mouth later on when we cinch and uncinch. So I'm going to go in this side first. And hopefully you can see that. You just kind of push it in. What did I do? No, I didn't. You guys, what did I do here? Did I sew that closed? When did I do this? Because I don't even remember. I blocked it. No, surely not. There. Panic attack. I thought I did, and I was, no. You could make memes off of me, I think. Okay, and we're just cinching around. It's super easy. Oh, you know what? Where's my mouse? I need to be putting these comments up on the screen, you guys. Yes. There we go. Yes, I am sure we would be. I don't know. I'm not even a singer. Like, I never was in choir. I just know. But I sing talk all the time. Is that normal behavior? Because I'm going with it is. My kids won't get up in the morning or something. I just start opera singing. I don't even care if the neighbors hear me. I'm like, what is going on in that house? Hopefully in a good way. Very normal. Lisa says very normal. If you say it, Lisa, then it's the truth. Here we are all the way around to the other side, provided I don't lose grip of that safety pin. And you just want to bring it through. There it is. And I kind of just make sure they're even. Kathleen, this was her first project in sewing school. Well, that's cool because our first project was, I don't know, it was something, was it a hot pad? I don't know. I was, at the time you're 14 or whatever, and you're like, oh, I'm never going to use a hot pad. I'm so sure, why are we doing this? But a bag, that's useful. So cinch it up so you have some room here to work with. And make your knots now, because you don't want to lose your drawstring later, like I have before. You may want to do a double. If that is not big enough to stop, you may want to do a double. Let's just do it. Let's just be safe. Right on top, there it is. Okay, now if you're going to add your beads, you can do it at this point. I'm probably not going to put beads on this one because I feel like this needs like a metal bead or something rock and roll, not wood, which is more hippie. You know what I'm saying? And so you'll string it on there and then you'll do another knot or two. But I'm going to leave that off for now. And then we'll do a knot on this side so I don't lose this one. And then we'll thread the last drawstring. Hello from New Hampshire. Hi, Andrea. I know your name. I recognize you. Yep, I follow you on Instagram and all that. I wonder, I've always dreamed about living like in Maine or New Hampshire or Vermont, like all northeastern-y. I envision that it's never hot. Am I right or am I wrong? Dash my dreams. Okay, so now remember we went in this side. It was this side when I started, okay? So we went in this side, our knots are on this side. So we need to start on this side for the second one. I didn't know that, 10 plus years ago when I made one, and then my drawstring bag didn't drawstring. And I blamed myself. But I should have just blamed bad instructions. Okay. It's getting hot in here. 2.5 centimeters. Sarah, 2.5 centimeters is what? 1 inch? We need to know this. We need to get on board with the rest of the world, United States of America, and go metric, in my opinion. Oh, I think I just opened that safety pin. Darn it! Why are you doing this to me, safety pin? Yeah, it's open. What a brat, There. There we go. Okay, she's through there. We have one more little casing to go. Girl, you cannot have too many machines, in my opinion. I'm going to preface everything with my opinion, but it is fact, just so you all know. My opinion is fact, actually. I had one machine for years and years. I mean, I couldn't afford anything else. And then I moved here and I was thinking, why am I limiting myself? I need to get it together and get a real workshop going. Okay. Let's bring that around a bit so I have some room to play. Is it boring watching me thread a casing? Too bad, take it or leave it. Oh, did I do that again? I think I have an old safety pin because she doesn't want to stay closed. But we're forging ahead because we're almost there, It's like once you're out on that ice, you just got to keep going or something like that. What's the colloquial saying? My husband is from the Dominican Republic, so a lot of times he gets those sayings like all twisted and wrong, and I think it's infected me because I get them wrong all the time, and I grew up in the Midwest here in this country, and oh my gosh, we're a pair. We are a pair. Okay, here we go. Ow! Ow! We're almost there, and she came open. Let's try to get it through. Just get yourself a high quality safety pin. That's my advice, so that you don't do this to yourself. I have literally, 2 inches to go? And it's opened. I am so close to just, you know what I'm gonna do? Because I'm already sweating. I'm a nervous wreck. So here we go. We're gonna do some surgery. And you can do this at home. Look. Just sew it back down later, you know, or don't. And pretend like you did. There we go. Scalpels are awesome. This one's from Havel's. Also, I think they're just indispensable. Almost there. Jen, I was trying to pull this up. Still hot, Jen? Ugh. You know, the only place I've ever lived that I just really agreed with the weather was England. And they're at what? Like the 42nd parallel, I think. I mean, that's way up there. You don't think of England as being way up there like that, but they are. No wonder I loved it. I was like, I could wear jeans in the summer there. Okay, there we are. Into a little ditty. I love that word. It's my favorite. It is, yes. Yes, you have to fill your day with joy. I mean, nobody else is going to do it for you. Am I right or am I right? My oldest, she's 13, and she's like, oh my God, please don't do that in the grocery store. It's so embarrassing. I'm like, one day, you'll miss that. One day. Oh, wow, Andrea, you grew up in Phoenix. Now, I've been to Phoenix once, but I think I was 16, so my memory is foggy. I mean, it's hot. I don't know if it really matters if it's a dry heat. I guess if we're comparing jungle, you know, with desert, maybe it feels better, but that whole thing, like, oh, it's a dry heat. I don't know if I agree with that. Hot is hot. Heat lovers are going to be like, oh, why does she have a thing against heat? I don't know. I just do. It's the way I was born, okay? Here we go. This is not going to scrunch well because I think my room is 89 right now, but I could be exaggerating just for editorial efforts. But there we are. I think it's so cute. Now, I'd love your ideas on what you would use this for. I think I would put money in it, or no, I'm just kidding. Shoes when you're traveling, or like maybe clothing. You're just going for an overnighter. Put in your is it negligibles? No, that's not the right word. Your like panties and stuff. You know what I'm saying? I hope Facebook doesn't ban me for saying that, but stuff like that, you know, things you want to keep separate. I would also put one in the car with maybe Band-Aids or a water bottle and things in case you get trapped in the desert, or I don't know. I cannot even think straight right now, so please help me out. Yes, knitting projects. My friend Selena Baca has Baca Crochet, and she said, oh, it's a crochet bag. Like, put your crochet project in there and your yarn and stuff. So true. That would be so cute. And again, you can make it any size. I just like the difference in width to height of 2 inches. So if you're going to make one that's 10 inches tall, I would say do it 8 inches wide. But it's your life, and you can do whatever size you want. All right. Right? Oh, yeah. I love that. So that's funny because we were just listening to music in the car ride yesterday as we went to see Grammy, and I was playing some music, and they were, Mom, is this from the black and white days? No, it's called The Cure, 1987. Get it together. That's what I want to say. Drawstring stuff. Exactly. I like the way you think, Melissa. I also like the way you spell your name. I love it when people spell their name different. I like that. I also really love non-perfect teeth. That's a piece of trivia. I'm not talking like, jaws, but I mean, sometimes a person will have like one tooth that's just slightly crooked or something, and I love that. Like Jewel, you know what I mean? I love her teeth. That's weird to say. I do the same. Yes, yes. Is your husband in the military? He was. So it's funny. My husband was in the Air Force for 20 years. And so we did move a couple of different places. And I was in the Army for just a few years before I met him. And so I got to live in a few different places. Like I was in Hawaii for 6 weeks. Felt like a long time. And you're so young when you start out your real life. I don't know if you truly appreciate what you are getting. And sometimes I think back and I think, wow, I lived there for, wow. Now I appreciate it. Let's see what else we've got. Oh, yeah, totally understand that. So back in the 80s, when I was a young child, I wanted like stuff with my name on it. And I'm Natalie. And back then, Natalie was not a common name. The only person I knew that had it was Natalie on Facts of Life. And so when I wanted the toothbrush that said Natalie on it, it was just never available. I mean, not a big problem in the scheme of things, but at the time it was traumatic. Jewel is the cutest. She really is. And her voice is just phenomenal. Have I chattered long enough, you guys? I know I took this one a little long, but we had to move past some hiccups, and we did. Remember, normally my lives will only be 20 to 30 minutes. Hopefully, I won't keep you here forever. But if you make these, feel free to tag me, and I'll repost or do cartwheels or whatever, comment, and have some fun. I'd love to see photos if you make any. You can post them in the Facebook group. I think I'm streaming there too, if I did this right. And you can, or on Instagram, you know what to do. And let me know how it goes. And if you have any questions, I'm here. Okay? So get busy this weekend and hopefully take some time for yourself and sew and have fun and live your life, right? Okay, I will see you later. I'm gonna shut this off now.